Good morning, America. This is Vivian Ham, and
I'm Jackie Moreno, bringing you today's international news.
now we have our European correspondent, Emily Gong, with our latest news on the Berlin Wall.
Breaking news, the communists have succeeded once again, and they have separated East Berlin from West Berlin in hopes of having East Berlin flourish just like West Berlin. As you can see behind me, it's the construction of the newly dubbed Berlin Wall. On the night of August 12, 1961, the soldiers came with lots of trucks cut from the east side to start constructing this wall. Currently, it's communist East Berlin and the free West Berlin, where people are flourishing, they have jobs, and it's a wonderful lifestyle. It's impossible to contact anyone from either side, seeing that both the telephone lines have been cut and there is no way to contact each other. Currently, the wall is 12 feet high and it cuts the center of Berlin. It's stretched over hundreds of miles. News have stated that there is 65 casualties. Updates are soon to come, and we are so blessed to live in a free country, America. Oh my gosh! Look! She's trying to escape! I'm free!
Thank you, Emily, for that riveting story on the Berlin Wall. I'm so glad we live in America.
And now we're going to pan over to our Vietnam correspondent, Alicia Christian, covering the story of the escalation of the Vietnam War.
Good evening, America. In the effort to prevent the spread of communism throughout the world, and especially in the United States, there has been a total outbreak of war in Vietnam. Also known as the Second Indochina War and the Vietnam conflict, the war began on November 1st, 1955. Now let's take a moment to look back at the escalation of the Vietnam War. Originally, our people were not in Vietnam to fight a war, just merely to protect the French territories from being taken over by the communists as a favor to France through NATO. The U.S. involvement of the containment of communism started in 1950, when the U.S. would send aid to the French and South Vietnamese army so that they could attempt to successfully defend themselves against the Viet Cong, the Vietnam's People's Army, which is North Vietnam, and Ho Chi Minh, the communist leader. In 1955 through 1956, France pulled out of Vietnam completely, and thus the U.S. decided to fill that void in order to keep the containment of communism, the greatest post-war threat since World War II, under control. During the 1950s, President Dwight D. Eisenhower gradually sent troops over to Vietnam, not as an act for the declaration of war again, but to act as a police force. He did send some U.S. military leaders to help instruct the South Vietnamese army, but unfortunately that eventually led to the U.S. involvement. People, please keep these soldiers in your prayers, and let's bring them home as soon as we can. Thank you.
Thank you, Alicia, for that wonderful historical reminder.
It really shows us the significance of the crisis in Vietnam right now.
This just in. The world is at its knees. It's the closest it's ever been to nuclear war. Reconnaissance photos have just showed that the Russians have installed nuclear missiles in Cuba, and they're pointed at Washington, D.C. The president is in jeopardy of being killed. We're in jeopardy of being nuked! Uh-oh. It's October 15th, 1962, and the world is in the hands of John F. Kennedy and Nikita Khrushchev. Because the United States decided to launch an invasion against Cuba known as the Bay of Pigs, which was an attempt to overthrow the Cuban government of Fidel Castro, increased tensions have resulted in the Cuban government crying to the commies and now resulted in the Soviets installing missiles which are currently pointed at the capital of our nation, Washington, D.C. Negotiations are happening as we speak, and hopefully the Soviets will back off and return to Russia. Wait a second. This just in. Nikita Khrushchev has agreed to dismantle these Soviet missiles and return on October 28th, 1962. Thank you.
I'm so glad that's over.
Yes, and now we're going to learn about the Prague Spring from our correspondent, Katie Campara.
I'm Katie Campara, here to talk to you about the Prague Spring. On January 5th, reformist Alexander Dubak was elected the first secretary of the Communist Party of Czechoslovakia. With his rule, we began the Prague Spring reforms. There was an attempt by Dubak to grant additional rights to the citizens in an act of partial decentralization of the economy and democratization. The freedoms granted included a loosening of restrictions on the media, speech, and travel. But after national discussion of dividing the country into a federation of 3 republics, Bohemia, Moravia, Silesia, and Slovakia, Dubek oversaw the decision to split into 2, the Czech Republic and the Slovak Republic. The reforms, especially the decentralization of administrative authority today, were not perceived well by the Soviets. Today, on August 28th, the Soviet Union sent thousands of Warsaw Pact troops and tanks to occupy the country. We believe a large wave of emigration will come and sweep the nation. Now back to you, ladies.
Thank you, Katie. Now, it's July 20th, 1969, and the United States has had an amazing breakthrough.
We have launched our first man to the moon, Neil Armstrong.
Here's some live footage now.
Hi, I'm Katie Compara, bringing you the far-out styles of this season.
Lips are nettles, your tongue is wine, your laughter's liquid, but your body's pine. You love all sailors, but hate the beach.
Having troubles with your computer? That's what it looks like. What if I told you I could help? Would you appreciate that? Introducing the mouse. With the computer mouse, you can access websites in the blink of an eye. No more hassle. So go on out and get your mouse today.
Are you bored? Do you have nothing to do? Well, we have the solution for you. We came out with the new Barbie! Yay! This Barbie comes with accessories, cute clothes, and awesome shoes. You can brush her hair and dress her anywhere. Your new best friend, Barbie! It is 1960s, and this year's Man of the Year is Fidel Castro. He was a mere civilian who hated Batista's regime, who was Cuba's former leader. He started the revolution in 1953 when he and 123 others attacked the Moncada army barracks, in which he escaped execution and was sent to prison. He escaped death once again in prison when Batista ordered Captain Pelletier to poison his food, who ended up refusing to do so. He was then put to trial for organizing an armed uprising in which he made a speech that won over his Cuban people. In 1956, Castro and 80 other rebels started the guerrilla war, which ended this year. This resulted in Batista's fleet and Castro's gain in power over Cuba. As a new leader, Castro has benefited the community in many different ways. First, he lowered the crime rate by forcing the mafia out of Cuba. Second, he lowered infant mortality rates by providing all of Cuba free health care. Third, he built 3 training schools for doctors, so all of Cuba has the right to medical assistance. And finally, he ordered all teachers from cities to rural areas where illiteracy is, most of the population is illiterate, so illiteracy in Cuba is no longer an issue.
America, we can do it, ladies!
Morning, Ted. The Soviet Union, we're a weak.
Being active in America is fun.
This isn't what it looks like.
In America, we like to eat good food.
Want fish?
Take a deep breath. Let's talk about
rationally? No, 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 no. My country doesn't do rational. We do irrational. Bombs, killing of innocent people, that's our thing. The U.S. may do that, but not us.
Do you think the United States will allow Russia to bomb us? Who do you think you are?
I think I'm USSR. That's who I think I am.
And we're the United States of America. What do you think that means?
That you're not as great.
Hey everyone, I'm here in the lovely United States of America, where it has nice, warm, sunny weather all day, every day.
Here in the Soviet Union, it's like really, really, really cold. I can't feel my fingers. Oh my gosh.
This. Okay.
What is in there?
I put salt. Like it's murky. Why would you drink it? It looks like a cloud.
Show us the significance of the crisis in Vietnam right now.
This just in.
Guys.